Okay, so Carlos Sainz has lost his seat now at Ferrari, and quite cruelly you could say considering how he's performed for the team. But a big question is, can he bounce back from this, and where? So Sainz's place at Ferrari post-2024 was up for debate for a while, looking at who was going to potentially be his replacement, and also where would he go himself. He certainly isn't held in the same regard as Leclerc at Ferrari, but overall they worked very, very well together. They were a great pair. And after Leclerc's long-term contract was announced by Ferrari, we then learned that Sainz's negotiations had broken down. We all wondered why this happened, and then shortly after, we found out. So now with Lewis Hamilton taking over Carlos Sainz's place at Maranello, he has to dust himself down and decide where is going to give him the best opportunity to be successful. Because the thing is, Sainz still holds quite a lot of sway in the driver market. I mean, okay, he may not be World Championship material, but if a team needs a fast, reliable driver who knows how to win, score podiums, and contribute to the team effort, then Carlos Sainz is your man. Now, the answer everyone seems to be talking about is Audi F1 when they take over from Sauber or Stake in 2026. And from what we've seen so far, it looks like Audi mean business. They know how to be successful in motorsport. I mean, they've won everywhere else they've been. They have a great heritage, so why not top that off with F1? So straight away, the lure of being part of this Audi F1 operation is huge, and it presents a very attractive proposition for a lot of drivers, including Sainz. The money and resources Audi F1 can offer to its F1 operation is enormous, and if done correctly, should translate into success on the track. Success which we may see as a result from the 2026 regulation changes designed to level the playing field, but let's just hope it works this time. And they're taking over a team which for much of its existence have done very, very well considering what they've had to run on in terms of budgeting and resources. We briefly saw what Sauber could do when they were under BMW as a properly funded and backed team, and hopefully they'll be able to replicate this as Audi. But these Sainz and Audi rumours are consistent, they don't seem to be going away, and it's because I think that both of them in some ways are perfect for each other. Both Sainz and Audi have an image of being reliable, precise, sensible, but also have an edge which they can put to use at any time. But with all things come drawbacks, and although Audi are taking over an established F1 operation in Sauber, I think they could be surprised at what it takes to be successful and what's involved, and also what it costs. And as I said, a massive pro is that Audi is a massive car manufacturer joining Formula One, but also a massive con is that Audi is a massive car manufacturer joining Formula One. We've been here before, especially in 08 and 09, where car manufacturers commit their future to F1 and want to be successful until the economy goes south or the board just decide that they don't want to do it anymore. So unfortunately, I think if Sainz does sign for Audi, he faces the prospect of having the rug pulled out from underneath him in a way that he wouldn't have faced before at Ferrari or McLaren. But now, because his future is uncertain, Sainz won't be able to make that jump that he had hoped for from a Ferrari seat into a fully fledged Audi F1 seat. And as it's unlikely that another team are going to take him for just 1 year, if it is Audi that he's after, it looks like he's going to have to go through a year at Sauber. And the last thing Sainz will want to do now is lower his value, scraping into the points on a good day for Sauber when a couple of years ago at Ferrari, race wins and podiums were on the table. The rate at which drivers' stock rises and falls nowadays is so fast, especially with all these youngsters trying to break into the sport and establish themselves. And also facing competition from his contemporaries and established drivers, he needs to decide if this Audi destination is worth the journey. Because a huge factor is that Sainz will be 31 years old by the time Audi arrives in F1, and their success could take time, and this is potentially time that Sainz does not have. Yes, Audi will be on the grid right after the regulation changes, and unless they do a Brawn GP, we probably won't see the real Audi F1 for maybe 2 or 3 years afterwards, when they've eventually hired the right people they want, optimized their facilities, and really gotten to grips with what they've taken on here. Because if his goal is to make a team his, replicating Michael Schumacher, committing long-term, enduring pain and frustration, and just generally working harder than he's ever worked before, that Audi victory would taste even sweeter, and if that's what he fancies, then Audi could be the best option. But if his goals are more short-term, rack up race wins, pole positions, podiums, points, etc., in quick time, then I think he should consider other options which may reveal themselves as we go through this season. Like I said, he may not be World Championship material, but he does have this unique selling point that other teams will be after. Aston Martin could find themselves looking for 2 new drivers for next year. The rumours around Alonso and Mercedes are persistent, and if Stroll repeats what he did in 2023, well, how much longer can Daddy Stroll justify his place to the shareholders? Potentially, we could see a Spanish supergroup at Aston Martin for 2025. Alonso passing the torch over to Sainz to take the team forward. And this would be a great move for Sainz because Aston Martin now have the backing and they have this brand new state-of-the-art factory, so really, there's no excuses for Aston Martin now. And if they eventually need to replace Alonso with someone, then Sainz is definitely worth a punt. Mercedes also have a vacant seat as they'll have to replace Hamilton, and it looks like Red Bull will have to come up with a driver to replace Perez for 2025. Unless, of course, he absolutely puts in a shift and earns himself a new contract. But the thing is, Mercedes and Red Bull look like they're both going to go down the direction of youth to finding another driver for their lineup. But should that not work and the right candidate not reveal themselves, then Sainz would, I think, definitely be a great addition to either of them. However, if a contract at a front-running team does not materialize and Audi does seem to be the end goal for Sainz, then the only real option that presents itself is to get involved prematurely and join Sauber for the interim period. He's basically putting all his chips into the middle of the table if he chooses this one, but the potential payoff, if it does work, could be huge. Both Sauber seats are still unconfirmed for next year, but there is a lot of competition for these because of what they will evolve into later down the line. And with the sheer number of quality drivers that are out of contract at the end of this season, Sauber could have the pick of the bunch and they might not even consider Sainz, so a lot is at stake here. Let's not forget the silly season and driver market will be immense this year and potentially making Sainz's next move a lot harder than it should be. But unlike a lot of these guys, Sainz already has his existing seat at Ferrari taken, so he's got nothing to fall back on if another move does not materialize. Guys out there like Albon, Gasly, Ocon or Ricciardo, they've got a drive to fall back on if something doesn't work out. So if Sainz is to bounce back, does he do it with immediate results next year, or does he potentially want to sacrifice the next 2 or 3 years for a more long-term gain? And also in the hope that everything just kind of works out. I think his next move, whatever it could be, could literally make or break his career. And it is such a shame from my perspective that a contract extension at Ferrari didn't work out because he was such a great servant and team player there. Unfortunately, F1 is a cutthroat sport, and who's to say that if Audi really nails it after Sainz put the groundwork in and helped get the team off the ground, would they still see him as the guy to steer them to championships if it really came to that? Sure, Sainz might be the guy to generally get the operation up and running and pointing in the right direction, but is he the one to take them up to the next level? Especially after maybe damaging his reputation slightly by having that interim time at Sauber and maybe the early stages at Audi if things don't go according to plan. And the thing is, a young driver of immense talent could reveal themselves by then. Audi could even make a huge signing like Verstappen or Norris. Even Leclerc might be up for a change of scenery by then. On paper though, Sainz doing what he does now just seems perfect. It's a scenario that works. And also there's the connection to Audi through his dad, Carlos Sainz Sr., so that just makes the situation even better. But for Audi to get started in Formula 1 with a race-winning driver like Sainz would massively enhance their credibility in the sport. And also, not to mention their competitiveness as well. And that is something that Audi have been trying to establish from the off. We've seen them rolling around their show car for a while, and also the 2026 regulation changes were also showcased in an Audi liveried car. But my take is that from this point to Audi's possible success just seems too long and has too many variables involved at this point. So I'm not saying Sainz should never drive for Audi, I'm just saying not yet. It's just that interim year at Sauber that has me concerned, and also perhaps the following years where he's helping Audi trying to climb the Constructors' Championship. Things might not be going according to plan and points may be slim. Because if his interest is in racking up wins, points, podiums, now he should do all he can to try and secure a seat at a front-running team. But if his interest is in building a team around him, working on something for the long term and building a future, and maybe also accepting that he's in a different stage of his career, Audi is the future for him. I've thought about this now, and I think this would be the best possible solution for Sainz to bounce back and re-establish himself after his time at Ferrari. So his final year at Ferrari, he has to absolutely smash it, really take the fight to Leclerc. And yeah, Sainz was narrowly beaten by Leclerc in the driver standings, but also Leclerc lost a ton of points simply just due to bad luck. So Sainz really needs to turn up at Ferrari in his final year and also be a bit selfish as well. After all, Ferrari have made it clear that they're not interested in him being part of the team long term. So this season, Sainz must sell himself and show his value and treat the season as if he's in a shop window. If a driver somewhere like Aston Martin or Mercedes is on offer, take it, snap it up, and then continue to do what Sainz does best at that team for maybe 2 or 3 years. And then meanwhile, whilst this is all going on, Audi has taken over Sauber. And they might have drivers like Guan Yu, Bottas, or even Hülkenberg doing all the heavy lifting and getting the team pointing in the right direction. And also kind of dealing with a bit of frustration as well, perhaps. And so then by the end of 2026, 27, Hülkenberg and Bottas may have retired by then. However, Audi are now a solid midfield team looking to make that next step up. And this, I think, is when Sainz and Audi make the perfect combination. Sainz has added to his stats and trophy cabinet over the last few years, and Audi need a proven, reliable, race-winning driver to partner perhaps a young, hotshot, up-and-coming driver that they've signed. Sainz will then see out his Formula One career with Audi and then continue racing in other categories after his time in Formula One. So there we go, job done, and absolutely no regrets on losing his seat at Ferrari all those years ago. But what do you guys think? Where is Carlos Sainz going to go? Should he go to Audi? Should he go to Aston Martin? Is he going to go anywhere at all? Please let me know in the comments. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.